everyone, so this is my next kind of party inspired look for Christmas. It's a beautiful purple smoky eye, and you can see it has that gorgeous high shine center to the lid, so it's one that would work really well for nighttime and maybe perhaps in slightly lesser lighting conditions than what you would get during the daytime. So watch on to see the tutorial and I'll talk to you soon. Prior to filming, I already applied my foundation. Because this is going to be more of a nighttime party look, you don't have to worry about SPF, and if anything it's going to be better not to use a foundation with SPF, because likelihood is you're going to have your photograph taken, whether it just be by friends or whatever, at nighttime, and I like to use something that won't provide any kind of glare to the camera. So one of my favourite foundations at the moment is the Bourjois Healthy Mix Foundation. It's more of a medium buildable coverage rather than full coverage, which I kind of prefer, especially, I don't know, at night time if I think I'm going to be wearing foundation for a good while. I use this a lot during the day as well, but I don't like anything to be too heavy or too uncomfortable on my face, so this is a really nice foundation for that. And then besides that, I just applied some primer to my lids. So at the moment I've been using this Urban Decay primer potion, which I got with the black palette. It's the tinted one, so you know the other normal one comes in a purple version of this, sorry. So I have that all over the lid up to the brow, and then as a base I'm going to start off by applying this. It's a sample I have of the MAC Chromaline in Rich Purple. This is a beautiful base. It stays kind of tacky for a good while. You have a good while to play around with it, but particularly you have a good while to apply pigments to it, in which they adhere because it doesn't dry that quickly. So I'm going to apply that all over the eye just above the crease and blend it out. I'm using a stiff synthetic brush to apply this. Synthetic fibres will absorb a lot less product than natural fibres, so they're good for cream bases or anything that you just want to, you know, lay down on the skin. And then I'm just going to apply that quite opaquely up to where my natural crease is, and then once you get above the crease you can get a clean blending brush. I'm going to use a Everyday Minerals short duo fibre blending brush and just start blending around the edge. It's up to you how high up you want the base to go. It should act as a guideline for where the eyeshadows on top or the pigments on top are going to be laid down. Next I'm going to pick up the lighter colour I'm going to use for the inner corner, and this is number 33, the pigment number 33 by Barry M Cosmetics. So it's this really pale kind of pink based purple, and just pick up a small to medium sized eyeshadow brush. So I'm using one of my LetzMakeup ones, and just start packing that over the Chromaline on the inner section. Don't go more than halfway over. You can just blend around the edges with the brush. It's okay if you get a little bit of fallout, because I'm going to be washing this or cleaning it away before we finish off the rest of the face. Next, for the second eye colour I'm going to use, this is by Collection 2000 and it's called Fairy Dust. So it's this darker, richer purple, beautiful shade. I've used this before in a couple of tutorials. I'm picking it up on the same brush and then press it in on the outer corner. And just blend it in with that lighter colour. You can just use your brush to blend it above that crease line a little bit. Next, I've just gone back into the Chromaline sample and picked a little bit up on the top of my synthetic brush, and I'm just going to run some of that along just beneath my lower lashes. And try and get it in between the lash hairs as well. These kind of synthetic brushes are good for that because they'll kind of just push their way into the root. Again, it's up to you how low down beneath the eye you want to bring the colour. For a little bit more precision, I'm going to switch to a smaller eyeshadow brush. This is my NYX B17 smudge brush, so it's a really tiny eyeshadow brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that Barry M dust, which was the lighter colour, and apply that just to the inner third of my lower lid. And again, just pick up the darker purple and apply that to the outer 2/3 or so. I like to get a blending brush and just blend around the edges, just so that it's not just so start and stop with the eyeshadow. As I'm working with so many sparkly, shimmery products on the eyes, I don't want the highlight to be shimmery as well. It can be a bit much when it's shimmer, you know, from top to bottom, bottom to top. So I'm going to go in with more of a slightly more matte satin shade, and this is MAC's Mylar. So I'm just going to apply that with a clean brush underneath the brow bone, or underneath the brow rather, and bring it down to meet where the purple ended. You can blend it in a little bit with the tip of your brush with the purple to make the transition a little bit softer, but I will be applying a different colour there in a second. For my crease colour, I'm going to use the purple, blackened purple from the Black palette, and this is by Urban Decay, and it's this one here called Jet. It's a beautiful, deep, rich kind of eggplant purple. I'm going to pick up the purple on a blending brush, so I'm going to use this brush here by All In Professional, which is a really nice small tipped blending brush, and apply that to the outer corner where you want the most product to be laid down. You can pull it in a little bit onto the lid. I always allow for fallout when I'm working with Urban Decay colours. They're very pigmented, but you do have to sacrifice clean application, so you do tend to get a little bit of fallout. Again, one of the reasons why I like to allow myself clean up after I've the eyes finished. So get a clean blending brush then for blending out the edges. If you want, you can pick up a little bit more of Mylar onto the tip of your brush and run it along the edge of Jet or whatever deep purple you choose. If you want, you can go for black, but I think it's nice to keep this all purple. And then just blend around the edges. Add a little purple as well if you need to, just to get the shape to how you want it to be. Next, I'm going to use that blending brush that I've been using to smooth out the edges, and I'm going to pick up a tiny, like the tiniest bit of that light Barry M colour, and I'm just going to run it really lightly along the edge. So you get a really nice soft blended edge. Okay, now I'm just going to apply some black to the waterline and do my mascara, and I'll be back in 2 seconds. Next, for the eyebrows, I want to use a more of a taupe colour because I don't want anything to be too strong in the brows. I'm going to use MAC's Quarry. It looks quite red on screen, but it's not so red in real life. And I'm going to use an angled brush to do my brows. So this is one from Boots. It was one of the Celia Birthwell brushes. And pick up some of Quarry on the tip and just run it through the hairs of my eyebrows. My eyebrows have kind of grown back pretty much enough now that I don't have to pencil them in all the time. I reshaped them a little bit so that they weren't so thick. And they still have a lot more body. And next I'm going to run some clear mascara through my brows just to keep the hairs in place and shape them a little bit more. So I always brush over and up on the inner section. If you have any sparse spots throughout the brows, brush the hairs down over them so it covers any patches. Next, to add a little bit more dimension to the eyes, I'm going to get Illamasqua's Pure Pigment in Tingle, which is just a really beautiful frosty white pigment. And I'm getting that small smudge brush I used earlier on for underneath the eye, and I'm going to pick up a tiny bit of the pigment onto the tip of the brush. Just knock off any excess and place it right on the center of the eyelids. Just like that. Then wipe off your brush and blend out the edges ever so slightly. So you almost pat out the edges. I'm also going to pick up some of that Tingle onto, you can use the same brush if you want, but this is just one of the slightly bigger brushes I used earlier on, and apply it here onto the inner corner. If I hadn't already done my foundation, I would have done that first and then gone in with the Tingle on the inner corner, just so that I could blend the two together a bit better. Next, use a brush or your sponge and just wipe away any fallout. Most of it comes away really easy as these pigments are so fine. Next, I'm just going to apply some powder and concealer, and I'll be back to show you what products I used that I haven't shown already. For the waterline, I used my Feline Kohl pencil by MAC, which is just a super black kohl. If you have particularly watery eyes, I might advise maybe using like the Makeup Forever waterproof eyeliners, or even the Urban Decay 24/7 black eyeliner in Zero, because they might have a little bit more lasting power on your own waterline, or even maybe use Fluid Line or one of those cream, more waterproof eyeliners, as long as you don't have contacts, because they can break off in the eye. Then I've rediscovered a beautiful mascara, which is the Max Factor False Lash Effect. For some reason I didn't like this when I first used it, and now I really like it, but I find sometimes if you let mascaras mature a bit, they actually just kind of settle onto your lashes a little bit better. I don't know why really, but this I just really like now at the moment. And then I used some of the MAC ProLongWear Concealer in NW20 underneath my eyes, and the Mineralize Skin Finish Natural in Light to set my skin. So I'm going to use my MAC Sculpt powder, which is this colour here. It's a contour powder, and just shape out my cheekbones. So if you're not sure how to do this, just get your brush and run it from the top of your ears to meet the corner of your mouth, and you'll find that that'll generally sit underneath that bone, and that's the line you want to follow with your contour. Especially if you're wearing your hair up out of your face, it's important, I think, to run it along the hairline as well. Just so it's not so harsh all of a sudden where you have it dark here and it's light everywhere else. At night time you can always afford to go a little bit heavier on contouring, because lights in pubs and bars or nightclubs or wherever you're going to be going tend to be a lot lower. It's harder to make out definition. Going back into my Tingle pigment by Illamasqua, I'm going to pick some of that up on the tip of this brush that I used to contour. I used the same brush to apply my setting powder as well. This is it's a Ruby and Millie face brush. It's just like a, I suppose like a paddle shaped powder brush. It can be used for blush or powder or anything. It's quite handy. And apply that to the top of the cheekbones. Use your fingers to blend it out a little bit if you find it goes on a bit harsh. So it gives that beautiful wet look. Again, lighting when you're out is going to be a little less harsh. Definitely nowhere near as strong as the lighting I use for filming. So it's not going to be so in your face. It's just when a bit of light catches it, it'll give a beautiful highlight. That's why you can really up the ante with nighttime makeup, because you are fighting against low light conditions the whole time. And then I want to use a little bit, I just used my finger and put it on the Cupid's bow. This really just catches the light and brings out that shape of that centre part of the lips. I'm going to use a rose pink lip liner. If you want, use a lip primer, as this will definitely help your lipstick last much longer for nighttime. So I'm just going to use, this is a L'Oreal lip liner in number 657, Rosewood, and colour in the entire lip area and then perfect your outline. For the lips, I'm going to use one of my favourite lipsticks of the moment. It's by Rimmel and it's number 180 Vintage Pink. It's kind of a mauvey pink, so it'll go really well with the eyes. Now, and there you have it. So that's the look completely finished. Sorry for the lighting being so chaotic in this video, but I hope you like the look, and I'll see you really soon for more Christmas kind of party inspired makeup looks. So talk to you soon. Bye.